Hey, it's John Varvatos. You're listening to Born in Detroit, and we are in the studio with Mr. Peter Frampton. Peter, welcome back.
Nice
You
to be
just
here.
heard the title track from Peter's up-and-coming album. The title track was?
Thank You, Mr. Churchill.
Thank You, Mr. Churchill. You heard it here first.
Yes, you did.
On Born in Detroit. So we've been reminiscing a little bit of where Peter's been from his early days in The Herd and Humble Pie and the first couple of Peter Frampton albums. As I said, I became a huge fan when Wind of Change came on and totally obsessed. And there was a song, you did a Stevie Wonder song on, you did When I...
I Believe When I Fall in Love. That was on Frampton's Camel.
On Frampton's Camel, yeah.
Right.
And thinking about this show being, it's called Born in Detroit, and how we got to that name is that I did a show quite a while back when we opened our Bowery store. They asked me to do a show here, and I had to come up with a title for it. So since I was born in Detroit, I think there was so much great music born in Detroit, whether it's Motown, jazz, rock and roll, and there's still a lot of great music coming out of Detroit. I thought about that Stevie Wonder song, and I was wondering, you know, influences-wise. I know some of the British bands that early influenced you, but what about anything from Detroit? Soul, Motown?
Motown, I've been twice now. You can't get me out of that museum, the studio, the Snake Pit. It's really interesting you should bring that up, because Chris Kimsey, who's the engineer who did Wind of Change and co-produced with me and engineered and mixed the new record, we hadn't worked together in years. We used to, he had these huge tannoy speakers, and he would be on one side, one speaker, I'd be on the other, and it was mono, and we'd be listening to, you name whatever Motown track it was that day, Four Tops, and I'd be going, Chris, you know that tom? I think it's the tom-tom. I think it's actually distorted. Can you hear that? And what's that bass? And we would just take apart Motown. Motown is such a huge influence of my music. You know, the track song "Something's Happening" that I wrote, that I wrote on piano, and it's got that Motown type. It was totally inspired by Motown. The drum fills on it and everything. And on the new record, we have the Funk Brothers playing with us on a track.
Wow, that's serious.
That's
serious.
So I got to induct the Funk Brothers in Nashville into the Musicians Hall of Fame a year and a bit ago, and got to sing two numbers with them. I did Shotgun by Junior Walker and another Stevie Wonder number. So it was just... I said to the audience, you do not know what this means to me, you know, standing in front of and playing with all these guys that have played on so many songs that you know, that you just can't count them, you know.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know the Funk Brothers, they were really like the rhythm, and they were really the band that was behind most of the big Detroit hits that came out of Motown. They played on all the, you know, they played on all the Holland Dozier Holland albums. They played on the Supreme albums, the Marvin Gaye albums. They played on Stevie Wonder's. They played with everybody, and they're still playing. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, the other number I did was Signed, Sealed, Delivered, and Eddie Willis, one of the three guitar players, was there and he played on this new track with us, and and at this rehearsal for me to do this induction thing and the show in Nashville, I wanted to do Signed, Sealed, and so Eddie goes, so Peter, you want to play the down 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 down? I said, well, Eddie, I'll play whatever you want me to play. You played on the record, man. So he said, no, you play it. And then as I walked away, he said, you can play my riff. So I turned around and I said, what do you mean your riff? He said, I said, Stevie Wonder didn't write that riff? He said, hell no. So Eddie Willis wrote the riff on Signed, Sealed, Delivered. That is the song, really. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm the hugest Stevie Wonder fan. I have 25 at least of his albums on vinyl. But to actually hear that, so much of that went on. Those guys would write a lot of the hooky parts that we associate with those songs, you know. So it's just so amazing to have them actually play on a track.
Yeah, it's, you know, when I